Well, I'm Wout, and I have a laboratory, and I call it a laboratory of life. It's the Kwetsbare Held. And I am fascinated by people. I'm fascinated by our ability to surpass ourselves. And I walk around with questions like, why do we all crave connection? Why we find it so hard to open up? And why do we so often know what we should do and then not do it? And why do I so often feel like I'm not good enough? Well, I was a professional pole vaulter, and at some point I was the #1 in the country, and I had a dream. I was going to take part in the Olympics, and I had worked for this my whole life. I had good results, and I had a strong team of coaches, of sponsors and fans, and I had a beautiful girlfriend beside me. And I had a unique story to tell, and I felt strong, I felt good, and I loved it. But right before the Olympics in 2008, I heavily injured myself. I couldn't jump for 1 whole year, and this moment has changed everything for me. When I could jump again, I couldn't live up to all the expectations. I thought I wasn't good enough. I couldn't live up to all the expectations, and now I lost my lines. I'm sorry. I was afraid this would happen. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Well, this is what my talk is about. I have to. Well, I was always afraid what the people thought of me. I truly believed that I only was somebody when I achieved. So I was always busy achieving, and I slowly started to forget how much fun the pole vaulting was. And I remember in 2012, I was in this stadium filled with 15,000 people, and I was sitting there on a bench in the field, and I looked around me, and I felt more lonely than I ever did before. I was ashamed of who I was at that moment. And after this competition, I decided to quit. And when I quit, I felt liberated. I lost the feeling of having to perform the whole time. And I started doing all the things I couldn't do as a professional athlete. Girls, I went to parties, loads of alcohol, and I was offered a good job by one of my sponsor companies, my old sponsor companies. And as soon as I started there, this feeling of not enough came back to me. And it started to eat away at me. And this is when I started my laboratory. I needed to understand what life was about. Why did I feel so much anxiety and so much insecurity the whole time? So I started watching loads of TED Talks. I read articles and books about self-development, and I surrounded myself with like-minded people. I found a mentor, and I bought a camera. And I started asking questions about life to hundreds of people on the streets. And I interviewed famous people. I interviewed successful people, psychologists, basically everybody. And my favorite question was, what have you learned from life so far? Maxime, wat weet jij van het leven tot nu toe?
Ja, dat is nou voor vraag, gast.
Geluk is het resultaat van lukken.
Het is alleen de vraag of je durft te geloven wat je al weet. Maar eigenlijk weet je het allemaal al.
Vraag hulp, spreek je uit, dan blijkt het toch allemaal niet zo erg te zijn. Mensen maken allemaal dezelfde dingen mee.
I would say every hero is vulnerable in some way or another. And I guess you could say being vulnerable is heroic.
Well, at some point, people around me went crazy with all of my questions. But I started to see this pattern. I started to look at life like if it's a journey full of challenges in which we can accept those challenges and we fight, or we run away. And my pattern was to run away. I was wearing a mask often, and I tried to be someone I was not. I avoided all these difficult situations just because I was afraid that people would reject me, that I wouldn't be good enough. And what I saw the last couple of years is that I'm not the only one struggling with this. Loads of people are struggling with this. But the lessons I learned in my laboratory told me that you can't run away from yourself. Yeah, you can, but you will never find fulfillment. The lessons told me the real solution lies within yourself, within these confrontations, and you can't within these confrontations and. Okay, and I'm sorry, I lost it again. So you have to start listening to your inner call to adventure, to your inner voice, whatever that meant. Well, I remember I was once spent 24 hours with a 62-year-old pastor just to get to find inspiration, and he told me about life like it was an onion. In the core is who you are, and to get there, you have to develop yourself. You have to unwind the onion. And it can take an entire lifetime to get there. Well, what I believe that he meant with this is that there's a lot of things inside of us that we don't know about ourselves yet, or we don't want to see, or we don't want to show to other people. So, and his solution was, I had to take an honest look at myself and stop denying the things that I see. So I had to find a way to start listening to myself better. Well, I remember I took part in this experience organized by Arjan Erkel. And it was about self-exploration. You might know Arjan Erkel. He has been taken hostage for 607 days in Dagestan in 2002. And this day, I had to sit in jail for a full day. Barely any food, no phone, no people around me, just me, myself, and I. And after a couple of hours of sitting still and walking back and forth, I received an envelope. And within this envelope were two questions. The first question was, what is it that's keeping you hostage in life? So what is it that's keeping you hostage in life? Is it a role at work that doesn't fit you? Is it your perfectionism? Is it that you are afraid to have an honest conversation with someone? Is it the dreams you don't chase? Is it your fear of failure? Well, and the second question was, how are you going to free yourself of this? Well, what I found out, seeing what it is, looking at yourself and seeing what it is maybe the hardest part of it all, what you see. And what I wrote down were things like, my father, who's like the best man in the world. I love this man, but he always speaks the truth, and I don't want to disappoint my father. What I wrote down was the fear that I would be that I am different, and the idea that people expect me to always be enthusiastic and to always be happy. Well, the thing is, if you start to take a look at yourself, the things you see, this is who you are. Those things is who you are. And if you deny what lives inside of you, if you deny it or you avoid it, you're basically rejecting yourself. You're saying to yourself that what I feel inside is not enough, and I walk away from it. So to start listening what it is you see and accepting what you see is one. But do you also accept the challenge that comes with it, or the action that comes with it? Well, I asked Arjan what he thought that freedom meant. Wat is vrijheid?
Vrijheid is wel dat wat je zou willen ook gaat doen. Zonder dat je daar andermans vrijheid voor afpakt. Maar heel veel mensen hebben plannen, hebben verlangens, willen iets, maar doen het niet.
Well, so what I learned is that to free yourself, you have to confront those fears, this discomfort. And with confrontation, I mean that you do the things you actually believe you should do and be open and honest about your intentions. You have to be honest about your intentions, raw, pure, raw vulnerability. And I really do believe, this is a choice you can make. Whether do you show who you are or do you hide? Do you run away? Well, and this is difficult, this makes you vulnerable, but this is what my laboratory is about. Every time I feel this fear, I feel this discomfort, I try to look at it and to see what I really feel is right. And I do take the action that I believe is necessary. And it's hard every time. But what happens is truly magic. It's magic what happens. And for some examples. Well, I told my father about the fact that he made me feel imprisoned. And instead of him being disappointed, he told me he was proud of me. And I remember one time I didn't have any money. I was in pure panic, and I had to ask my best friend, and I was ashamed of the fact I couldn't save myself. And I asked him, and instead of him saying no, he was glad he could help me. And I remember after a couple of dates with a girl, I went home with her for the first time, and I felt pressure because I thought I had to make a move. And I decided to open up about it, and it liberated us because she felt the same. And this keeps on happening every time, like magic in all areas in my life. And before I would run away, I would avoid this situation, but now I do it, and every time something happens. So I found out it is sincerity connects people. It connects people. So, and no, it doesn't always work. It's not a trick. Sometimes you fail, but those turn out to be the strongest moment of growth. So what is the treasure I found? The treasure I found is that by being loyal with myself, by doing the things that I actually believe that are right, that makes me trust myself. This is what makes me trust myself and makes my confidence grow. And every time I show up, and with all of my imperfections, with everything that's not good, not right about me, it turns out that it is enough. I am enough, and you are enough. Well, and the second thing is, at the same time, my relationship start growing because when you be real, you drop your mask. People connect with you because they recognize themselves in you. Because we all struggle with the same things. We all struggle with the same things. And besides that, if you drop your mask, you give the other one permission to drop their mask as well. And this is what connects. You don't need a mask anymore. So to end with, I would like to invite you all to start your own laboratory and start listening to your call to adventure. What is it that really lives inside of you? And accept what it is and challenge it. Fight, fail, get up again, and find the treasure you are looking for. And this is what I learned from life so far. Thank you.